for joining me today. I want to show you a really fun power flower that you can put on any cake, any cupcake. It's a really fun accessory, but the really great thing I'm going to show you today are a couple of tips that are going to take that power flower up a notch, make it really fun, whimsical, special. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to cut these out. One way you can do it is just to use like a 5-petal cutter, and these come in a variety of different sizes, which is handy. And then I'm also going to show you these individual petals. I left one loose here to pull off to show you. These I just kind of made separately and dried thoroughly, and then I'm going to attach these separately. But we'll come back to this one in just a second. I'm going to show you this one that's a little bit more simple. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of powdered sugar out on my surface. And I'm using the Choco Pan gum paste today. This is pre-colored, so I'm using black, which is really difficult to color on your own. So I really highly suggest going ahead and getting the pre-colored gum paste. So I'm just going to flatten that out a little bit to get it started, and then roll it out nice and thin. This doesn't have to be paper thin. It can have some substance, but just keep in mind that the thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry before you can apply it to your cake. So I'm going to go somewhere between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch thick, and that's fine. So just a 5-petal cutter, and I'm just going to cut down, wiggle around to get a nice clean cut, and then I release it and put it into my flower former. Now you can see here I went ahead and layered a couple of different colors on here, a couple different sizes. If you're going to be wiring this and you're going to need to put a center through it, you'll see this one I did not put a hole in. I'm not going to wire this one. This one I will wire. So what you'll do while it's just cut and soft, just go ahead and put a little toothpick there to make a hole so that your wire can go through it later. So once your flower is dry, just depending on what kind of center you want to put into it, this one is one that's just simple rolled out gum paste, and then I just used a little round cutter and stuck it on there with some piping gel. That's an easy one. This one's really fun and whimsical. I really love this one. Let me show you real quick how to do that. So all I'm doing is taking a little bit more of my gum paste, okay, and I'm just going to kind of shape that into a gumdrop shape, and then I'm going to put it on a toothpick. And I want to make sure I have one flat side and the other side tapered, just like a gumdrop, okay? Put it on a toothpick to dry, and then I'm just going to let it sit there for a few minutes. These I already have dry. This is the really fun part. I'm going to take a little cup, and I'm going to put some black nonpareils in here. I don't want to use it in my container, because if I get anything in here, like the piping gel that I'm going to use to glue this on here, then that can contaminate the rest of my container. So I always want to pour it out before I do that. So I'm just using some clear piping gel. Okay, and I'm just going to use a little paintbrush and just a real thin coat. You don't want it gloppy, and you don't want to get it on the underside, just on the sides and the top. And then what I'm going to do is just dip it in my nonpareils. Kind of turn it around, and then it's coated really, really cute. So you could do that in a red also, and these could kind of take the place of raspberries and blackberries. Now let me show you what I'm going to do with this. Now that this is going to set up probably at least an hour so that they're not going to fall off. This one's nice and firm and ready to go. You can go ahead and remove it from the toothpick, and then you can apply it to one of your flowers. So again, just with a little bit of piping gel in the center of my flower here. I'm just going to attach that there and give it a few hours to dry, and it's going to be nice and firm, and it just makes a really fun flower center. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this other power flower that I made, and these are just individual petals because I wanted it a little bit larger, a little bit more impact. So what I did, I went ahead and left one petal loose here so I can show you how I assembled this. Just depending on how much time you have to let this dry, I did a little piece of gum paste on the back side here and attached these other pieces with a little bit of piping gel and let that dry overnight, maybe 2 days to get that caught up. If you don't have that much time, I'll show you another trick. This is just some clear isomalt. I put it in the microwave for a few seconds just to get it kind of melted. And all I'm going to do is take a wooden stick. These are the apple sticks that we sell. I'm just going to put a little dot right there where it needs to sit. And I'm about to put a flower center here, so I'm going to leave this on the center as well. And then I'm going to attach this, and it's going to dry almost instantly. And then I'm going to go back and grab the fun flower center that I just made and attach it to that other isomalt. And then I've just got another fun power flower that we can use. Okay, so one last really good trick that I want to show you is how to attach not only the larger blossoms to a cake, but how to attach, if you say you have bows or other heavy items that need to be kind of attached to the cake, and really a kind of edible glue isn't going to cut the mustard. It's just not enough to hold it. So what I've done here is I've kind of made an attachment that's going to go into the cake. So this is just a regular apple stick. And then what I did was I took a piece of gum paste, and just depending on the size of it, how big across the base is, the bigger your bow or your flower, the bigger your base needs to be. So what I'm going to do is I just kind of touch the tip into just a little bit of piping gel, and that just gives it a little something to grab onto. And I'm going to stick this in here and kind of work it up the stick a little bit. Just really make sure it's going to grab. And then I don't want to leave that rounded because it's going to attach to the back of the bow or the flower. So I really want to flatten this out. And this is the point where you can kind of push this out and kind of make that diameter of this piece a little bit larger. Now, it's best if you let this dry a little bit so that that joint is really secure. This one I made yesterday, so it's nice and secure. And all I'm going to do is go back to my isomalt, and this is what I'm going to use to glue to the flower. Okay, so I've got my isomalt heated up again, so that's going to act nice as my glue. Let me just grab one of these that I know is nice and dry. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of isomalt right on the back of the flower or the bow, whatever you're using to attach, and then attach the flat side to it to give it just a minute to dry, and that's going to be a nice secure piece. I've got one already done here. And you can see that no matter how much it weighs, it's not coming off. So what you can do then is just insert this into the side of the cake, and because of the durability of the stick and this joint here, it's really going to hold that weight without it collapsing and falling off the cake. So that's the power flower, just a fun couple of ways to do it out of gum paste. I really love the pre-colored gum paste. It has nice vibrant colors and it dries really quickly. It's really easy to work with. This center I think is really fun. It's a whimsical touch that you can add to any kind of flower, not just this, but other things. You could also use that, like I said, in red and kind of make it look like a raspberry or a blackberry. That's a nice little embellishment. And don't forget the stem that I showed you that gives a little bit of support and durability to those heavier objects that you want to add onto your cake as well. So I hope you give the power flower a try, and thanks for watching. Have fun with it.